A few days ago, we talked about how President Trump had something of a meltdown over bad news about the decline in jobs in the United States, leading to him almost instantly firing the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. You'll recall we said this was the sort of move associated with banana republics, a comparison that several others went on to make in various places because it is the most obvious one to make. And the big question was, would he appoint someone with suitable credentials to lead the Bureau, only with the advantage of not having been appointed during the Biden era, which is fine? Or would he do what he did with all his cabinet appointments, go for people who are unqualified in terms of the needed expertise for the job, but qualified in terms of slavish loyalty to the person and policies of Donald J. Trump? I rather suspected it would be the latter, although there was always a chance he would be listening to the cacophony of voices in the financial world telling him that such a move would be hugely damaging to America's credibility with investors. There was just a chance. But yesterday, President Trump stamped on the head of that chance and presented to the world the fiercely loyal E.J. Antony. Antony has slated the Bureau in the past, has wittily said that the acronym BLS, the L is silent. You see what he did there? He slammed the figures when they gave bad news for Trump's agenda, and of course that's all Trump needed to know. Stan Verger from the right-wing American Enterprise Institute expressed his despair to the Financial Times. He said this: the hope was that he would pick someone who people would have trust in and could lead the BLS in an appropriate way with relevant experience and ideally not hyper-partisan. E.J. Antony is really the opposite of that. Antony is an economist and part of the Heritage Foundation, the think tank that spawned the Project 2025 plan that is being executed over the last 6 months by President Trump. When Trump announced him, he said that Antony would, quote, ensure that the numbers released, numbers randomly capitalized for some reason, are honest and accurate. Which would be great, except that we know that in the 2025 authorized Trump dictionary, honest and accurate are both described as agree with whatever President Trump wants them to be. And in the same statement where he announced his pick, he made it clear what that was. The economy, he said, is booming. Jessica Riedel, formerly at the Heritage Foundation and now at the similarly conservative Manhattan Institute, wrote this on Twitter. The sad thing is, there are countless competent, respected conservative economists, especially at universities, who could do a terrific job running BLS. But no credible economist would take a job in which you would get fired for publishing accurate data. And she went on to say, the articles and tweets I've seen him publish are probably the most error-filled of any think tank economist right now. Dave Herbert, an economist at the conservative American Institute for Economic Research, he posted this on Twitter. I've been on several programs with him at this point and have been impressed by two things: his inability to understand basic economics, and the speed with which he's gone MAGA. I can only hope the Senate blocks this. That would be the same Senate that confirmed astonishingly inappropriate appeals judge Emil Bove. Yeah, well, good luck with that. One of the things we were hearing in the immediate wake of Trump firing the former Commissioner McIntyre was that the BLS figures are produced by 2,000 skilled employees who produce the monthly jobs report and consumer price index inflation figures, both of which are essential reports for investors. The Commissioner does not get to see the results until a couple of days before publication, making it more or less impossible, it said, for them to change the numbers or to interfere for political reasons. Steve Hanker, former economic advisor to Ronald Reagan, told the Financial Times this: the BLS has a template of how they collect data and report it. Whoever is at the top is pretty much irrelevant. The bureaucracy and the template dictate what goes on. Well, okay. But in other news, Trump's pick, E.J. Antony, has gone on record just a week ago, before he was confirmed as Trump's nominee for the position, as suggesting suspending the monthly jobs report. Instead, it should simply only produce the quarterly data, which would enable them to be made more accurate. Not entirely clear which dictionary definition of accurate is being used in that sentence, but Antony has been known on social media to dismiss the BLS methodologies, highly respected as they are, as, quote, phony baloney. He also called for a chainsaw to be taken to the BLS. So it kind of seems unlikely that he goes into this role with the intent of simply being the trusted hand that turns the handle of data generation as it has been for many decades. Economists such as RSM US chief economist Joe Brusellas told Axios that the cancelling of monthly reports would be a serious mistake, giving more fuel to critiques of the politicisation of the figures, which I think is the intended Trump-friendly way of saying that it will likely lead to blatant politicisation of the figures. So, what will happen if BLS releases, once E.J. Anton has been confirmed, which seems likely given the absence of any spines standing in his way in the confirmation process, if they turn out to be written in Trumpian-style hubristic language, and all the figures seem to tell the rosiest of pictures? According to Hanker, there will be a surge in demand for private data providers who can give solid analysis on a variety of proxies to give more reliable indicators as to what's really going on. Those will be of interest to investors who stand to make or lose a lot of money based on understanding what's really going on, but also a number of mainstream news outlets. Now, of course, they will be labelled as fake news. And lo and behold, financial information for the United States job reports, inflation reports, they too will become polarised. Fox News and similar viewers will believe that the economy is booming, just like Trump promised it would. After all, the official figures say so, right there. The others will believe something else, whatever the best unofficial data can be found to suggest. Now, this may well happen even if Antony actually doesn't interfere, since the simple appointment of a staunch partisan into this role, a staunch partisan on behalf of a president who has shown hostility to accurate data, the nature of which he dislikes, that is enough in itself to erode confidence in the figures. But I wouldn't want to be the person betting on the odds that he will not interfere, since that seems blatantly to be the brief that he's taking on, and he's shown every sign of being enthusiastic about exactly that brief. Some people might point out that there have been challenges in the collection and production of key economic data in the recent past, such as that produced by BLS. That is not a conversation worth wasting your time with, because there are no such problems that are rationally solved by a president throwing a tantrum because the news is bad, then putting in place a lawyer list with a brief that they will make sure the figures in the future are going to be good. It'll be like a medieval doctor drilling a hole in someone's head to cure his headache, and people will be saying, "Look, the man had a headache. Are you saying you're happy with him simply suffering without taking action?" The thing is, such actions might distract people on Twitter and on Fox News and Breitbart and a handful of other such places, but the financial analysts, and as we've seen in this video, including the conservative analysts who may agree with certain policy choices but still want accurate data, because how else are you going to know what works and what doesn't? Those people are not going to indulge the stupidity. So what, you might ask, are they going to do about it? Since, stupidity is all they're being offered. Well, it remains to be seen, but typically humans will always find ways of working their way around broken systems in the creative ways that they can find. Let's hope we're still allowed to talk about them in public in the future. If so, we'll cover them right here.